Hello, hello, crafty friends. Stacy here with my Tuesday creative session, and I have a super fun fold for you today. So this is a floating gatefold fun fold. Let's check this out. And yeah, you see I'm using some old supplies. I am busting through my stash with some of these holiday series that I'm doing for Christmas in July. How fun is that? So it stands up so your recipient can keep this on their desk or mantle and it will look just like that. So I'm using Festive Friends. I'm using a whole bunch of stamp sets here. I'm going to show you what I'm using from my stash, but this is super fun. And check this out. I put another panel on the back so you can write your custom message. So this is optional. You can eliminate that. But again, look at how fun that is. It's got these mechanisms that's allowing those to close. And this does close flat, right? You got a little bit of a pop there, nothing much. So you can opt to not do a belly band if you didn't want to, and then maybe attach this panel onto one of your gate panels there. But I opted to do a very simple belly band just to keep it nice and closed, just like that. I did my belly band kind of tight, but I'll show you how to just make a simple belly band. So we're going to leave this right here. Like I said, I am busting through my stash. Down in the description, I always have a nice tutorial for you. So we'll give you the cutting guide, the directions. So I'll go through everything in the video super quick, but don't worry, just get the link down below and that'll print out for you. So you might have a lot of these items in your stash. These are like some of my favorite items from last year. So of course, I'm using stylish shapes. Actually, yeah, I did. I did use that for these circles right there. Of course, my Festive Friends for these elements right here for the Santa and the Snowman, some of the sentiments. I also use Snowy Wonder for that front little scenery there. Love that. It's a snow globe, has lots of dimension. That snow globe I had cut out. I'm going to show you what I did. But we also, I have, let me go in a little zoomed in so you can see that. And then you see I created some background with some stamping that matches the DSP. I'll show you what I mean. Um, Also, I used a little cheer and I used that for the Christmas is here sentiment. What else did I use here? Did I use this one? Oh, I did. I used the holly and jolly for that sentiment right there. So I just busted through my stash and I used the Merry Christmas for the front there. So let me also show you that I had some of the Snowy Scenes DSP left over from last year. Again, one of my favorite. You're going to keep seeing this in my videos, doesn't matter. You can recreate these cards with new product. And I am down to just a few pieces left. This is the last of the polka dot that I used for this card from my Take a Bow. Love, love, love the 6x6 DSP. So I'm almost done with that. But one fun thing is this design here on, if you have this, it coordinates with the thin cuts. So what I did was I used the thin cuts to cut out the top and the base of the snow globe, which is this and this right here. So in today's, when we recreate it, I'm just using a different scenery, but here is this piece. And here is this piece. So just to show you, I didn't have to create the whole scenery. Some of our dies coordinate with the DSP. So this is a great one if you have that. So I'm going to go through all of the pieces that you need to create the basic card. And then as you can see, I have already pre-cut, pre-stamped all of my elements that I want to use to create my scenery. So I'll just give you the basic directions for creating yours. And the directions also go into that and basically just tell you the papers you need. But I also mentioned here somewhere to use your favorite set of die, bust your stash and use your favorite set of dies and DSP and whatnot. You do not have to make this holiday themed. This is a great card design for, I don't know, birthdays, anniversaries, thank you, any occasion, truly, any occasion that has, you have some fun critters, like if you have the critter stamp set, anything with animals, this is a great, great design for that. So I have all my bits and pieces here. Let me bring in my paper with all the dimensions and I will go through what you need and then we will get to creating. So I'm using basic red. Real red. You can use whatever coordinates with what you're doing. So you need 5.5 by 8.5 for your card base. I have my belly band here. This is cut at 3/4 by 11 inches. I need another piece that coordinates that is 3 by 4. This is my front panel. And then you need two pieces that are 2.5 by 2.5. Okay, those are what your floating panels are going to mat on. That's for my colored cardstock. As for my now we're getting into the basic. As for my basic white, you're going to need a piece of 3.25 by 4.25. You're also going to need 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. You're going to need two panels that are each cut at 2 by 5 3/8. You're going to need two, which I already had gone ahead and stamped. Here's my panels. I went ahead and did all that. These are 2.25 by 2.25. You are going to need two panels, one for your inside, one for your back that I already had gone ahead and stamped. These are both 4 by 5.25. And then for those floating mechanisms, which is the beauty and the gold behind this card to get everything workable, these each are 1 by 5.25. Then all you need from DSP is two panels, and these are each cut at 1 7/8 by 5.25. So again, you don't have to remember all that. It's right here in the cutting guide. In the tutorial that I have linked down below for you. All right. So let's get this out of the way. We're just going to do some scoring right now. So we need to score on our card base. We're going to do that. And we also need to pull out those two little mechanisms. So pull those out. Then we'll move on to adhering some things together. Then we'll do our stamping. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm just bringing in my little mini scoreboard here. And I am going to take my 5.5 by 8.5. Okay, on my 8.5 side, you're going to score 2 1/8 on each side. So the proper way to do that is you're going to score once, then flip your page over and score again so that your score lines going into your paper are both on the same side. Okay, so let me get my stylus here, and I got to bring this close to me because I got to take this off. It's very hard. If you could see, to see these numbers, I did 4 1/4 right there. That's my most used. So I just want to go to 2 1/8. Okay, so 2 1/8 is right here. So you're going to make one score mark. Okay. Then I'm going to rotate my paper and do another. Let me bring that close to me, make sure. Oh, I can't see. I'm so blind. Okay. And 2 1/8. But you see what I did. So my score lines are both into the paper because I don't fold on the bump. I fold inward on the bumpy side. Okay, so we'll just move this aside for a minute. Now you want to get those floating mechanism pieces, and each one of these are 1 by 5.25. So on the 5.25 side, you're going to score at 1 inch, 2 inch, and 4.25 on each of those. So 1 inch, 2 inch, and 4.25. Okay, just repeat that on both. 1 inch, 2 inch, and 4.25. Okay, now we can put all of this aside. We are done with our scoring boards for now. I'm going to adhere just to get some things out of the way. Okay, so here is our card base. What you want to do is now fold in on both of those gate folds, and you can go ahead and burnish that if needed. Okay, and that is your simple gate fold. So you want to take your DSP and those two basic white panels, And you're going to adhere these two together. Super, super easy. So I'm loving doing Christmas in July. This year, I usually don't do Christmas in July, but I wanted to do it this year. So at least I'm getting a head start on some card making, right? Okay. Actually, there's going to be a lot of Christmas for the next couple of months because I utilize making videos and stuff for doing my own Christmas cards because I like to find easy duplicatable cards. Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, so I have those two panels. You could adhere them now to your front, and you could use liquid glue, your favorite adhesive. I am just listen, you always see me using different adhesives. I have various all over my desk. I mean, right here, I have this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, right? I have so many, but I just started my video. This is just about out. This one's out. And so it's like I just grab whatever I can work with for that time being. I am not partial to any. I love actually the ones I just showed you, everything on my desk are the only that I buy. Okay, so you want to adhere these panels. Then, since we're adhering, you want to take that panel for the back. If you want this panel, again, you could eliminate that, but I would first stamp and then adhere this if you're going to use that back panel. I wouldn't put any die cuts or anything on here. Or any gems because of your belly band going up and down. You don't want that to get stuck. So just adhere this right in the middle. And that is your basic card design, right? Then you're going to take this one here and you're going to adhere that down. I don't recommend stamping or anything in there because you're not going to have too much space. Okay, so we'll just put this down in the middle. Okay, so that is our basic card design. Now you have those two basic white pieces that you're going to stamp with. So what I did is I used those cute festive friends. And when I had it on my stamp set, I just turned my hand and stamped. So as you see, a little bit of his body's missing. That's intentional. Same here with Santa. Let me show you this one. See, they were kind of the snowman's coming in from the bottom, Santa's coming into the top. So that's how I did it because my stamps were just a little bigger than this space. But I think with the opening, it just was perfect and it worked great. So I was happy there. So at this point, I would go ahead and stamp up whatever you're going to use on those. And then you just want to adhere these to those, your panels, your cardstock panels. Let me make sure I had that. Yeah, these are 2.5 and the colored is 2.5 and your white panels are 2.25. So just adhere those up. I just did all my coloring, right? Like you need to know how to watch me color. Ugh, I get anxiety and it's boring, but I know it's therapeutic to some, but I'm not a colorer. I just do the best I could. So I don't really need to do that on camera. Now, if you do want to use stamps like me, or if you're going to do festive friends like you have and you want to do it on the side, make sure when you place your Santa on the floating panels, you're going to put Santa at the bottom and the elf at the top because Santa's coming in from the bottom. See what I mean? Pointing in that way. Again, see how my snowman's pointing? You get it. You get it. All right, so we adhered that together. Next, we're going to take this panel and these two white panels. So right now, you take the bigger white panel and you could just adhere the red one down, and then we're going to stop there and we're going to move on to some stamping. Sometimes it's easier just to watch someone put the card together than pull out the tutorial if they give you one, and then sit and create. That's kind of how I work, right? I was inspired by this, finding my fellow demonstrators that I follow as well. And I just wanted to do a card using my supplies. And I did change it up a bit by adding the sentiment here, doing the belly band. So you put your own little spin on it. Okay, so that is adhered there. We're going to get all of this out of the way, and we're going to focus on stamping. Where's my two? Okay, there they are. Um, let's bring them because they're stamped already. So again, I use the stylish shapes, and I used two sentiments, and I'm doing Holly Jolly and Santa's Coming to Town, and those are going to go for the inside of my card as well, and I'll adhere them last after my floating panels are in there. This is going to be used for our front panel that we're going to decorate. So we're first going to stamp the background, and then we'll create that scenery. So let me just get a piece of scrap. Actually, I'll just use the back of my tutorial for now. So what I'm doing is I'm using Pool Party. Pool Party is a coordinating color with this paper, but it doesn't really matter on this one. I have the snowflake, so I use the coordinating. But in this snow globe, there's that Pool Party. So that's all I'm pulling off of. All right, so what I did was I'm just taking one of the stamps from that set and using my Pool Party, I'm just going to ink it up just a little bit. And I'm making a background stamp here. So the way I'm doing that is I'm going to make one stamp in the middle first. I always like to do the middle because if you do the sides, then it's harder to get in the middle. If you do the middle, then you can always stamp off the sides if needed. So the way I do it to get a full coverage of my paper is I would make a triangle. So I hit the corners and the middle. Now for the next, I would do a large stamp here, a large stamp here. Okay, so you see I'm kind of filling the paper in. Then I would repeat the first way I did it next. I would put one in the middle and then come off to the ends. And then at the bottom, I would fill in with two stamps. So I have a good coverage of my making my background paper, and I don't have any weird sections with a big, area that's not stamped. So that's good enough. I don't have to go in anymore and stamp this. So that's all the stamping I need to do. Oh, I told you all last week I had gotten the chamois. So this is my first time. Well, not my first time. I've been using it, as you can see, using my chamois. I really like this. Look at how thick that is. So what you do is you wet it, and then I put it in one of the CD cases that we sell, and you just keep it closed, and it's always damp every time you open it. I have a Ranger water spray bottle on my desk here. I just spray it down a little bit, and it stays nice and moist. I haven't had to clean it yet, but I heard it stays very dirty, but nothing transfers on your stamps. So, there's that. That's my review of it, but I actually really like it better than using the scrubber. Okay, where was I? Let me close up my ink pad here because that's all we need to do. I already did my stamping. Okay, so we're going to build our scenery last. Now we're going to bring in those mechanisms. Okay, so let me bring this close. Remember, if you can see, we scored at 1 inch, 2 inch, and 4 1/4. So I'm going to explain this to you first. You're going to put adhesive on the 4 1/4 to the end, and then the middle piece, okay? Because this is what's going to adhere down, and your panels are going to go right in the middle. Okay, so this is the middle section. Then you have that where it's the 4 1/4 to the end, and then you have the other two pieces here. Okay, so hopefully visually you understand that. So when I put this together, you'll get it. Okay, and then the same deal here, because let me just show you without any adhesive on it to make this easy for you. So let's make believe we have adhesive here and here, not, I know it's white on white, not there, okay? And let's imagine that this now is stuck with adhesive, just like that. I have them, okay? he's stuck down now and he's going at the top. So actually, you have to have it like this when I'm doing the top one. When I'm doing the bottom, we'll do it different. So when you're doing the top, you need this little piece. Here's where we are, okay? Is going to line up right here. See, you can't go past your score line. See my score line right there? You can see it when I put the white up. There's my score line. You can't go past that because it needs to close. So you want to keep it kind of right there. Even lining it up with your white paper is perfect. You can go out a tiny bit because remember, there's adhesive there. What we're going to do is we're going to line that up, then we're going to close our panel. Okay, that's it. Then when this opens, it's going to come like that. Okay, then I'll show you how to do the other side. Now, if we were doing the bottom, I'm just trying to demonstrate this without adhesive on it. So now, here we go again. Remember, 1 inch, 2 inch, 4 1/4. So we can leave the 4 1/4 piece because we're doing the bottom now on that side because we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to line up that, here's that 4 1/4. We're going to line that up. And also you have to make sure your panel does not go beyond your card. Then we're going to close this side up. All right, you get the idea now. So here is your 1 inch, 2 inch, 4 1/4. So the top one, the 4 1/4 needs to be up here, and the bottom one, the 4 1/4 needs to be down below. I hope that makes sense. I wanted to just spend time with that so you fully understand what I was doing. So we are going to do the top first. We'll do the top first. So I'm going to focus. I turned mine around so that my 4 1/4 to the end flap, that 1 inch flap is right in my, I'm holding it in my right hand and that little flap goes to my left. So I'm going to move my card base. I'm going to bring in my, which I got to get all my little die cuts off of my silicone mat. Okay. So here's my 4 1/4 inch mark. I'm going to put a lot of adhesive on that. Okay. Then I'm also going to put adhesive on this whole middle piece because this is where it's just not over the score marks. Okay. So they're sticky here and they're sticky here. So it needs to be this way because I'm doing the top. So I'm going to line up, love to do this with a ruler. I'm going to try to do it here. I'm going to line up. I want him to be like this. Okay. So, sticky. Okay, so this is sticky here. See, it doesn't come to the end. That's totally fine, but you want it to the end on this side. All right, so let me bring my card base back in now. We're going to make sure we get him right where we want him. So I would say either line it up with your white a little bit over, just don't pass your card base. Okay, and then same deal here. You don't want to be on your score line. You want to be a little past it, just like that. Okay, I think that's good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this flap. Okay, and now when I open it, there it is. It's attached to my card. So now remember we have our score line here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put adhesive just right here and then flap it over and connect it. I'll show you what to do. So now on this piece, don't pass that score line, put lots of adhesive. Okay. And now you're going to flap that in. No. Hold on. Hold on. I did not look at my card. 1 second. Yeah. Okay. I want to make sure I don't flap it over. Too much. Okay. So I just wanted to make sure because I make the mistake so you don't have to. So all you're doing is flapping it in like that. See, I hope you can see. Just flap it over like that. And then put it down. Okay? See? Just like that. And we're going to do it again at the bottom and you'll see it. I got really confused there for a second, but okay, it happens. It happens. Okay, so there we go. We're half done. Now we're going to take our other one and we need that. Here's our 1, 2-inch, and 4 1/4. It's going to stay just like this. We don't have to flip it around. So you're going to want, again, adhesive on that 4 1/4 to the end, and then that larger middle section. So I'm just going to put adhesive on that middle piece. Just put a little extra, and then at the end. And remember, you could go straight through, but you don't want adhesive where it bends. Okay, so now I'm going to get my Santa, and I'm going to try to line them up the same way. Just going to try to do it as straight as I can. And I'm going to line up with this side, right? It's not going to come to the end there. But I'm not on my score line. Just like that. Okay, I think that's pretty straight for my Santa. Again, we're lined up to the end there, and we're not at this side here. Okay, so now, same thing. I'm going to line up Santa, making sure he's not going off my card first. That's good. And obviously you need to make sure they don't hit into one another. And now I'm going to move it so I get it. You see, there's my score line right there. I'm a little past my score line, just like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close my flap and let that pick up Santa. Okay. Then we have these score marks here. We're going to put a little, not a little, we're going to cover this whole little piece here with glue. We're just going to flap it back and then lay it down like that. And then it will open. Okay. That was a better demonstration, Stacy. Get it together. All right. Adhesive, don't fail me now. Okay. So I got my adhesive, right? Gonna flip it over. See what I'm doing? Flipped it over. I'm gonna flip my panel. Just kind of how it lays, just like that. And there's that piece that's down. There you have it. And then it closes. Oh, cutesy, 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 cutesy. Love it. I'm a little off here on my panel, but it's okay. See how you can see a little white there? Totally fine. But it lines up, it sits up, it closes, and our belly band will slide over the top. The only thing that's going to happen is it's going to make it pop up a little bit more. And that's why I have the belly band. Okay. So now what we're going to do is now we can take whatever we're using as sentiments. And if you're not using, say, a little circle or anything, at this point, you can open this and have your area where you're going to stamp there. Maybe you want to write something here if you're not doing the back panel. Totally up to you, but I'm going to put Santa's coming to town there. Holly Jolly. These just work perfect. They fit. So that's why it worked for me. Thank you if you're joining me and my channel is new to you. I really appreciate you finding me. I hope you like my videos. Give me a thumbs up. And I have all of my group and everything, my newsletter, it's all linked. You'll find it all. I don't need to go through that. But just go to my About section and you'll be able to follow me on all of my social medias. Join my private crafty Facebook group where I do monthly creative challenges that you can earn some happy mail. Okay, so now what you would do is based on whatever stamp and thin cut bundle that you're working, now you would need to cut out additional pieces and stamping. So I don't have any of this accounted for in my tutorial. That's why I tell you to use your favorite bundle, but I do give you the sizes on the pieces that I used. Okay, so we made our back panel. Now I'm going to go ahead and kind of line up my This is so cute. I love it. Cutesy, cutesy. Okay, we're gonna line this up and then adhere this straight down. So first, I'm gonna put this here for placement, and I'm gonna adhere my base first. Okay. How's the weather by you? I'm in Florida and it's been, I mean, it's, what is it? It's mid-July. I mean, August, we pretty much, where I live, it's 100 degrees every day. But man, this summer has been so hot. I know it really has everywhere in the country. I'm originally from New Jersey, and where my family is, they were getting over 100 degree weather in June, which is not normal. But yeah, Mother Nature. She is ticked off this year. Okay, so I am creating my fun snow globe, right? Look at how fun that looks. Maybe I could even put a few, I should have put a few snowflake stamps inside there, but that's cool. All right, now I stamped in some garden green. I love, you guys, let me just show you this set. If you have it, it's not available anymore, but what a great set, Snowy Wonder. You get so many dies and the stamps are great. And you can make big snow globes and oval type snow globes. Really, really love this set. Okay, so I did some trees. We're going to put this big one flat down. And this is just, creating a little scenery, layering. So we're going to put this here. And I'm going to try to follow my same, what I did on this one. Now, this small tree, I'm going to use some dimensional. A little too wide. Put this here. And we're going to layer this one. My nails would get out of the way. Layer this one right on top of that one. Then we're going to take this larger one and we'll dimensional this guy too. Stampin' Up! Needs to get foam tape. I love my foam tape. Okay, and this one right here. Even though it's going outside of the snow globe, it's totally okay. All right, now I did have a package. Yep, I have a little present that I'm going to sneak in my two trees and kind of have it poking out just like that. Okay, I'm going to put should I put the candy cane? Oh, I'm going to put the candy cane. I want to pop the candy cane up as if he's holding it. So let me take a little bit of this dimension that I had, cut off a little smidge for the candy cane. Performing a little cosmetic surgery here. Okay, so I just have a little piece, just because it's like hitting into the tree right here, and it has to be on this hand because of the way it's going. Actually, looks like a star on top of the tree. Okay, now I did cut out a couple extra candy canes that I don't need. I have an extra tree. Oh, actually, what I was going to do is, oh, I did stamp one. I don't need it there. Okay, we're good. So these are just some extras I will throw. Actually, we'll keep the candy cane names. All right, so I did go ahead and stamp on one of the stylish shapes. That might be just a little too big for me. I also did a smaller one like this. We wish you a Merry Christmas. And I think that one is going to work there. And I'm just going to put it somewhere. We'll go with it. We're just going to go with it. All right, so let's get this out of the way. I think I'm all done here, right? Yeah. Okay. Now we want to adhere this down to this panel. So I'm just going to use some liquid adhesive. I had to pick that up. I dropped it. There. I'm going to do this with liquid since I already built all the dimension. So you can either adhere this before you start building your scenery or just do it after with liquid glue like me. This is why I have multiple glues around because I might need mini glue dots, large glue dots, liquid adhesive, dry adhesive. You all get it. Okay, really cute. Really liking that. Okay. Also, now that's for that one. Okay, now we're going to find our belly band. I don't have anything written for you. You could score your belly band, but I'll just show you what I do just to make it easier. So this is a 3/4 of an inch strip of real red. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm holding it against the back and not super tight. Like I said, I did that one a little tighter, kind of loose. I'm doing a loose wraparound. Okay, let me show you what I mean. Loose, like see how you have a little buckling there? It's just not super tight. So I'm just getting that kind of sized up. And then I like to use tear and tape. This is 1/2 inch tear and tape. I buy this on Amazon. Just cut a piece of that, put that on the bottom layer. Okay. I'm going to pull that off. And then make sure you line this up. And then just put your belly band. So there is your belly band. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I am going to take my focal point right here and put another piece a little larger because I know that's about 3 1/4. I'm definitely going to cover my seam to start and put another piece right there. Pull that off. Then adhere this down. Perfect. And there is your belly band. So you don't want it so super tight. And I'm going to take my sentiment now. And I might put that, yeah, I'm going to put some foam adhesive on the back of that. And I'm going to catty corner it. Boy. Okay. Just like that. I think I'm going to do it sideways like that. Yeah, I think that is cool. Just like that. All right. So anywhere for these candy canes to go. Don't want a tree. Don't want a tree. I have extra candy canes. I like to use what I take my time to stamp out. Let's see. Okay, we can put a little candy cane right there. Right? I think that's adorable. Let's put a little candy cane. Okay, so that there. Let's hold it open. A stamp. Okay. Now I also have from when this set came out these white loose snowflakes. As you can see, I have them here. If you can see right there and a couple there, they have a lot of dimension. Look at how thick they are. And they're rubbery. So we're going to add a few of those. We're going to do like 2 here. So I like to do my dots first. 1 here, maybe 1 here. That's that. Okay. Let's pick out a few. So we'll do a big one right here. 2 small ones. Not actually a big and a small, so we'll do it small there. Big one here. And then a small one up there. Okay. So fun. Now you see this card kind of seams in the middle really well. Take this off. This one, I have a little gap in the middle. That's totally okay. But you know why? Because you see that little bit of white there. So just be mindful of that. But again, no big deal because my belly band and my 4¼ inch front element covers all that. But if you notice here, I just have a little bit there, but here I really went to the edge. So that's what's causing that little buckle in the middle there. But again, no big deal. That's why this one's opening more and that one's not. But that's why I did my belly band for the cards. Okay, so let me put my belly band back on. And we are finished. I hope you enjoyed this floating gatefold card. So I'll keep that one closed. Okay, and here is, let me zoom out a minute. My desk is probably going to be super messy. No, it's not too bad. um, but here is what it looks like closed and what it looks like open. And this will, like I said, sit on your recipient's desk or mantle. Super cute. I just love it. And I hope you do too. I hope you give this a try. And again, does not have to be for Christmas. This could be for you any holiday, any holiday. And don't forget, I take the time to create the tutorial. Most of my creative sessions have just a free instant downloadable tutorial for you. My card classes that I do monthly, you'd have to head over to craftydivausa.com to purchase those card class instant downloadable tutorials. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thanks for hanging out with me. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you like this card. Let me know if you give it a try and what bundle you're going to use. And most of all, if you recreate the card that I made, I love when people case my cards. Please be sure you're part of my Crafty private Facebook group and come drop a picture of it so I could see it. Thanks so much, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. Take care now.